He said, "Who do y'all think is the greatest prospect ever?"
Wemby.
Yeah, it's not. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's close. You got Kareem, Wilt, but I got
Shaq.
Wemby. Oh, Shaq for sure. Kareem, Wilt, Shaq, Bron, and then Wemby is like the main contenders in my opinion. But I got Wemby.
This is not who's going to be the best. This is just who was the best prospect coming into the draft for the people in the chat. Because when we talk about prospects and I say one guy was a better prospect than the other, but the other guy had the better career, people are going to be, oh, he's hating. No, this is who was.
Like, I'm not looking at what they became, like, because you have to imagine they're all draft prospects and you can't see what they become. It's just as they were coming into the NBA. Who was the best prospect?
Y'all would have drafted Wemby. Y'all would have drafted Wemby over LeBron James.
I wouldn't have thought twice.
I said that during Wemby's draft cycle.
Now remember, remember what we're talking about, which is what I'm going back with Mars. Now, Mars, there's still, even though we live in a time today where Giannis and Joker and Embiid, the foreign player is a big deal. Back in 1992, it was a big man league, and what Shaq was doing in college. He was the next coming of Jabbar, of Chamberlain. He was that guy. He was the guy who was going to turn around a franchise and you were going to win a bunch of championships with him. He was the guy who was going to turn. He was the guy who was going to be the next coming of the next big man, of the next generation of big man. Everything that he did, handling the basketball, playing in transition, how strong he was. When he was coming out of college, he was the best big man. He was the best big man in the country, and he was almost a can't miss. Almost a can't miss. I'm thinking about Wemby, and I can appreciate your logic, Mars, about Wemby in terms of his prospect. But there's still some people who still have this tag about the Euro. They still have issues about what the Euro is. He might be a little bit soft. Is his game going to translate to the NBA? It's dumb stuff like that. That there's still people who think about the Euro like that, as opposed to in 1992 when Shaq is coming out, Olajuwon's in the league. Dave Robinson's in the league. Lonzo Mourning is also coming out in the draft. Jabbar had just retired out a couple of years ago. And the transition to the next great big man, this was the guy. And it wasn't a question that this was going to be the guy.
The candidates for this clearly are Wilt Chamberlain, 100%. Wilt, Shaq, David Robinson,
Kareem,
Jabbar, definitely.
Magic. Magic was up there.
Magic did have a great collegiate.
He played 2 years at Michigan State.
And a great prospect, but I feel like there's a level difference between like the Kareems and the Wilts. Then we get to Magic.
No, Magic is 100% in this.
No, it's not. The reason why
6'9" point guard.
Hang on, but look, definitely. He wasn't Kareem. He wasn't Kareem. None of these dudes was Kareem.
Shaq wasn't LeBron.
None of these dudes was Kareem. But what I'm saying is like, don't forget about those dudes. But I'm just gonna speak on Bron because I was there for the Bron thing. You know what I'm saying? I was there for the Bron thing and seeing Bron. You know what I'm saying? And it was different because Bron. 6'8", fastest dude on the court, and got he had everything. He had everything except for a knockdown three ball. You know what I'm saying? He had everything. Now I don't want to get into the Euro is soft thing because I never subscribe to that.
Neither.
You know what I'm saying? I never.
You did hear it though, Ox. You did hear it.
We heard it for sure, but I never subscribed to that. But my thing with Wemby is the questionable things for me was. He dribbles a lot. Is it a loose handle? Can you get under that? You know what I'm saying? Certain things. Is he strong enough to play on the block? I wasn't bought into the jump shot at that time. I'm just talking about at the time, as a prospect. These are the things I'm concerned about. Obviously, he's a freak. He's a freak in nature. He's super talented, can do pretty much all the things on the court. But I'm not saying it's soft, but I'm like, what can he do on the block? He looks light in the hindquarters. His arms are so long. He's dribbling kind of loose. How sustainable is that? Him in the open court. These are the things I was concerned about with Victor Wembanyama. When it comes to LeBron James, I didn't have any questions. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah, he might not be able to develop that jump shot, but he can pass the ball. He's super fast. You can't stay in front of him. He's super athletic. He's jumping over everything. I didn't know it was going to be like this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know it was going to steal. I didn't know I didn't know when I was 11 years old that he was still going to be doing this when I was 34. You know what I'm saying? So I did not see that happening. But
so crazy.
but what I'm saying is, like, as a prospect coming out, we all seen Bron at what's the school? Vincent St. Mary's or whatever.
Vincent St. Mary's, yeah.
Vincent St. Mary's. We seen that shit, and it was like, bro, like, come on.
And remember
man.
too,
Like,
the only
as far as prospects for me, Victor Wembanyama ain't on the same tier as LeBron James. For me,
I don't know. You gotta the way we've never seen a 7-foot athlete move like Victor Wembanyama.
Actually, we have. Yes, we have. 100%. I saw him. His name's Ralph Sampson. Yeah, his name's Ralph Sampson.
I just don't think. I think even if Victor Wembanyama ended up being a complete bust, like unplayable, I still don't think you're wrong for that pick. I still don't think you're wrong for that. It's like when people say the Clippers shouldn't have traded for PG and Kawhi. I don't think in the moment that was a bad trade. Just like if Wemby just turned out to be a bust, I don't think that's a bad pick at the time.
I think
if you don't do that trade, you fired. You're
fired.
fired.
And I hate when people say that because SGA showed he had game. But if any six of y'all wouldn't have made that trade, you were on the first thing smoking, and rightfully so. And rightfully so. You would deserve to get fired if you don't make that trade. In hindsight,
just like if they didn't draft Wemby, they'd be fired. They wouldn't have. Wouldn't have made it out the draft.
John, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. And I'm not saying
somebody other than
there was a moment there. Now, Mars, it was a moment of weakness, Mars, where I did say, who knows? Maybe Scoop might be better.
Well, they were hyping Scoop too, though. Remember, they were saying Scoop would be the number one overall pick.
Scoop would be the rookie of the year.
Team play the G League Ignite. And then Wemby gave him 37 and 5 threes and fading corner threes and all that nonsense.
School got busy one of them games too. Didn't he have like 33 and
he had some
10 or something like that?
I think
but you had to draft Wemby.
I don't think there's a wrong. Well, okay, I do think there is a wrong answer, but I don't think like LeBron being an answer is the wrong answer. I don't think Kareem being the answer is the wrong answer. I don't think Wilt being an answer is the wrong answer. Same with Shaq. I think those five in my opinion.
Do you think Bill Walton is a wrong answer?
Huh?
Do you think Bill Walton is a wrong answer?
Coming out of UCLA, I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's a bad answer.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like we have this weird timeline thing where we try to blur what happened with what was, and most of us were not alive when Bill Walton was drafted, so we don't remember what was being said. So it's very important to go back and read the articles from.
I know what was being
about
said
what was said.
Came in after Kareem did at UCLA. I
exactly. So I think if we're talking greatest prospects of all time, for real, I have to put Yao Ming into this as well. Has to be there. There was no question he was going number one, and Jason Williams was a very, very, very good prospect. So I'm gonna say LeBron number one for sure, Wemby number two for sure. After that is negotiable between a lot of dudes. I'm inclined to say Kareem number three, Shaq number four, and honestly, somewhere between Bill Walton and Greg Oden for number five. Like
Greg Oden was very underrated. I wouldn't say
it's not so
okay. Anthony Davis also deserves.
Ryan, did you feel that way then? Ryan, so Ryan, you're telling me in 2007, you thought Greg Oden was overrated.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
I thought he was.
I'm gonna tell you why I thought Greg Oden was overrated, and I didn't really like him that much. He just didn't have enough on the block for me. He ain't have that pop, pump fake, fadeaways, and stuff like that.
He wasn't offensively inclined enough.
Yeah. And that was my thing. Like, it was like, yeah, you might be dominant in the paint, you're blocking shots, you're dunking on people and stuff like that, but you're not Shaq. So I'm not expecting you to come in the league and just drag everybody. You're not giving me enough of that dominance. So you're going to need some skills. Joel Embiid, for instance, he's stepping out, hitting the mid-range jumper. He taking two dribbles, pump faking up and under.
That's prospect in Kansas.
But wait a second.
I'm not comparing them at practice. I'm not comparing them as prospects. I'm just saying
because Greg Oden at Ohio clears.
Jaleel
Okafor. That's what he was doing.
Jaleel Okafor, for instance, I was higher than him than I was on Greg Oden, and it was simply because on the block, he giving you work.
Ron is just working up the courage to tell you he was a Hasheem Thabit believer.
I think we
Were
all
you?
knew it was gonna be me.
Were you?
Joel, no, but Jalil Okafor was like that though.
Yeah.
You know what? This is really bugging me. And I got to get to the bottom of this. How the hell are y'all telling me that Victor Wembanyama was a better prospect than Shaquille O'Neal?
I hate to step in and interrupt this intense yap session that you're currently watching, but I just have to inform you on all the amazing, spectacular, fabulous, endless ways to play and win over at PrizePicks. Basketball fans, I know the season is just tipping off. Yes, I know this. But you know what that means? It means that you have an opportunity to pick your favorite players and their matchups that are the most thrilling, and you can win money from these. With PrizePicks, you can play daily NBA contests and test your hoop knowledge by choosing the player projections and every single stat line imaginable to make your PrizePicks and take home some nice hard-earned cash. Are you a rookie in the game? Don't even sweat it. I got the playbook for you right here. All you have to do is download PrizePicks, use promo code PANEL, and you will get $50 instantly when you play 5 here with PrizePicks. So what are you waiting for? Download PrizePicks, use promo code PANEL, and join me as we break down all of our amazing daily picks right here on the panel. PrizePicks. Run your game, control your game, win your game. It's easy, baby. It's easy.
Because for me,
just the sheer dominance. Like I'm just curious about this.
As the person up here who's saying I think Wemby's the best prospect ever, I think it's like Wemby's like I viewed him as like a canvas with like unlimited possibilities. Like there was just
Would
so
you
many
be saying
athletes.
this if he busted right now? Would you be saying this if he was super hard struggling? Yeah. Would you be saying this if he'd gotten injured in his first year and he missed the entire season like Chet? Would you be saying this?
And this is the beauty of me being here for nearly 3 years now. I said it during the draft process. He's the best prospect ever. Like before he got drafted, I was saying this is the best because I was watching him in France. I was actively pursuing watching his games. I was saying he was a better prospect than LeBron while he was still playing in France. I was saying this is the best prospect ever while he was still playing in France. So if I'm trying to not jinx anything. If he got hurt and his career ended, I still would have said the same thing because as a prospect, it was unlimited opportunity. It was you got a 7'4" guy who's going to come in and be a monster on defense instantly. Great shot blocking instincts, great rim protection instincts, but also the physical tools to be the best rim protector in the NBA from day one. That's what I was saying is the floor for him. If the offense never comes along, you've got a defensive player of the year candidate. You guys, Chill was here, Ox was here. You guys can remember. I was saying this guy was going to lead the league in blocks from year one. He's going to be an all defensive player from year one. I said that. Offensively, there's unlimited possibilities. We've seen flashes of passing potential, the ability to make some reads and see over the top of defenses. There's signs here that if you develop this, he can be one of the best passing bigs, despite the fact that the accuracy was sometimes off, the delivery was sometimes off. But you could see there was something there that if you honed in on this, he could be a really good passer. The shot making ability, that goes without saying, the ability to make one-legged threes, the ability to make step back threes, the comfortability shooting those shots. The percentages didn't indicate it, but you could look at it and be like, he's a good free throw shooter. In France, he was a good catch and shoot guy. I think he was shooting like 40% on catch and shoot threes in France. But the off the dribble stuff was a lot more of a pipe dream. He shot like 24% on off the dribble threes. But the flashes of it was like, if we can hone in on this with the touch he already possesses, there's potential here. The ball handling stuff, it wasn't he's a great ball handler, he can run your offense, but it was at 7'4" and the ability to not create separation but shoot over the top of people, his ability to get to spots on the floor that he wants to. If you can hone in on this, there's nothing you can really do with it. And then it's just
that is separation more. So just vertical.
Yeah, exactly. He's got separation vertically, not horizontally. So I was looking at all of these things. I'm like, defensively, I already got my floor. He's going to be one of the best defenders from day one. He can be a historic defender. Offensively, there's so many avenues to becoming great. And there's also the potential that he maxes out on all of those categories to where I was saying he could be the greatest player ever.
Look, I was very high on Wemby too.
That's what I'm saying.
I was very high on Wemby as well. When the Raptors chose to not tank at the deadline and to try to trade for Jakob Poeltl, they were 6th from the bottom. I was like, what are y'all doing?
They wasn't finna send that boy up to Canada, Japan. But this is the thing. At what point do you have
San Antonio before Toronto? Are you kidding me?
Toronto
is a bigger
this
market.
Is America, than San Antonio. At what point do Americans? At what point do we take into account
Wemby's not American, Ox?
I didn't. Thanks, Penn. At what point do we take into account like the ability to physically assert your dominance into this? Because at this point we're talking about guys like Bron, Shaq, Wilt. These dudes that could physically assert their dominance into a basketball game.
The guy can take one step at what point line to the free throw line.
I'm talking about physically imposing in the same way.
I'm like I said, I'm talking about the ability to
physically.
But I'm talking about the ability to physically impose your will whenever you want to. Victor Wembanyama cannot do that.
Okay. First of all, physicality is not physics or like being physically on the basketball court is not defined simply to roughing guys up and punching them in the face. Okay,
who said anything about punching anybody in the face, Penn? Well, I'm talking about LeBron James' ability to be 6'8" and just blow by you is physically imposing your will. I'm not talking about running anybody over.
Physically imposing your will, but being a skyscraper and blocking 4.5
blowing by you and jumping over people, dunking the ball over anybody because you can't stay in front of me because I'm so fast. Were you confused, Penn? Oh Lord, what?
Being pushed.
If I can impose my will because of my physical attributes. That's what I'm talking about.
7'4" for a physical attribute? How's an 8-foot
because Victor Wembanyama doesn't have the same thing that Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, and Wilt Chamberlain have. Is what I'm talking about.
And they don't have what he has. None of them were 7'4". None of them could shoot threes.
That's cool. I understand that.
So what is it, Ox? Everything has to be set to the barometer of the players you want to support. So Wemby's not a great center because he's not as big as because he's not as wide as Shaq. But what about the free throw shooting? What about the 3-point shooting? What about the switchability?
He can't do what Shaq does on the block. He can't do what LeBron could do on the wing. He can't do any of what Wilt Chamberlain can do.
And they can't do what he can do. You're not addressing that part.
And what exactly is that?
What exactly is that? I don't think that they can switch onto a guard and then get back to the wing in one switch onto the guard on the perimeter and get back to the paint in one step. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can dribble, initiate, pull up, and take a three-pointer. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can come in when they are physically not even ready to be facing up against grown men and dominate grown men the way Wemby has. I think what you need to ask yourself,
wait, what you said? The last part.
He's not dominating?
No, what you just said the last part, man?
I said physically dominating.
You said that they didn't have the ability to face up and dominate grown men like
before they had physically matured to the level where Shaquille O'Neal was 245, 250 pounds.
Shaquille O'Neal came into the league physically dominating.
Correct.
LeBron James came into the league physically dominating.
That's what made him such a great prospect.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that at some point, look, Victor Wembanyama is not going to be skinny forever. I'm going to say that right now.
Maybe he will be. I don't know.
Some people just have a slimmer
frame. I think he got that kind of frame, Penn. He's not going to turn into Giannis or anybody like that.
What Penn means is he's not going to be this. He's going to get stronger.
He's not going to be weak. Yeah, I agree. But I think I'm going
to tell you one thing.
If I would have said,
correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think what you're saying is when you view Wemby as a prospect versus the Shaqs, the LeBrons, etc., the person who's more physically dominant, physically ready, physically matured, you view them as just having the higher floor. They're more reliable. You trust that translating more because you don't have to worry about how they deal with the physicality of the NBA. And guys like Shaq and LeBron came in as Shaq definitely like maybe the most physically dominant player in the league from day one. So it was like the floor was already there. It was like this guy's going to dominate from day one because he's more physically mature. Whereas Wemby, it was like, yeah, we see the potential and everything he can do, but there's also the off chance that he just can't match up physically and he can't play. Is that right?
That's exactly what I said. They came in with the ability to physically assert their will when they wanted to.
And I can teach you the other stuff.
When you just like look because it's like this. When you got somebody that can just physically assert themselves, I don't. Yeah, you have to get better. Your skill. You have to get your skill up.
But I can teach you that stuff. I can teach you that stuff.
Right. But Shaquille O'Neal was able to boom, bang whenever he wanted.
I don't have to worry about that. It's like I can't teach. To Ox's point, I can't teach 7 feet, run fast, and jump high. I can't teach that.
Right.
I can't
LeBron
teach
James can open up at 19 feet, jab, and blow past you and go dunk the basketball. When you just watch Wemby versus Giannis, what did we see? What did we see when we just watched Wemby versus Giannis? We see Giannis show
the
him
same thing we saw when we saw Scotty Barnes versus Giannis. We saw clamps.
Please stop it. We just seen Giannis show with Victor Wembanyama like, yeah, you're really good. You're really good, kid. You're nice. But I'm a grown ass man and you're a little boy.
He had a tough game. Stop acting also, like one game is his whole career. He has done
it's not that.
You can act naive. You can act naive if you want to, Ken. You can act naive if you want to, but we all seen the same thing.
To his point, even though Shaq was 21, 20 years old when he came into the league, there was nobody who was little boy in him. There was nobody who was.
But Shaq still got the business given to him too.
Like, even if he did, but it wasn't to Ox's point like that where he got roughed up. No,
it wasn't.
He might have gotten out.
You could get outplayed, but it wasn't because of the reasons Ox is saying. Like,
no, yeah, but Wemby's
like making a point for the sake of making a point. If it's not addressing what Ox said about the physicality of it,
that's the point.
It's not irrelevant.
Can I ask you a question? Is Demontis Sabonis more physically dominant than Wemby?
You know, obviously, Ron, that it's not that. I know that that's not the end all be all. I understand that, and I'm pretty sure you know I understand that. I'm just saying that when you come in and you can physically assert yourself, it's the point where I don't have to have the same skill set opening up. Like Shaquille O'Neal didn't have to have everything in his bag when he first got there because he was already a problem because he came in like that. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but here's my only problem with this whole thing is I feel like we are not giving Wemby the credit that he deserves for being physically imposing. Wemby is physically imposing. The longest dude on the court, the tallest dude on the court, the most verticality on the court. Wemby is imposing. When Wemby is on the court, you are second guessing everything.
I want to know
offensively and defensively.
Rookie Shaq on the court with rookie Wemby. How does
they
that
both give each other work?
Okay.
They both give each other work.
Hang on.
Wemby go get dunked on a couple times, but Wemby go slap. But Wemby go slap shot a couple times too.
Yeah, but that's not a big deal. Yeah, of course you're gonna block a couple shots, but I think Shaquille O'Neal absolutely destroys Victor Wembanyama.
Stupidest conversation. Okay, hang on 1 second.
Well, stop. We'll get out of the conversation. It'll be less stupid.
Ox, thank you very much. Ox is. I need just
every time somebody disagree with you. Oh, this is stupid. It's stupid.
No, I said the conversation was stupid. I'm not saying you're
stupid.
Going,
okay, keep going.
Hang on.
Keep going.
Is Domantas Sabonis more physically imposing than Wemby?
Sure.
Okay. Is Jonas Valanciunas? Hold on, no. Hang on, Cho. Hang on. Don't siren off yet. Hang on 1 second.
I apologize. Keep going.
Okay, Ox is
even though we all understand that that Domantas Sabonis isn't the level of player we're talking about right now.
Okay, but keep going.
I just need to understand if he's more physically imposing.
Let's just keep going.
Is Jonas Valanciunas more physically imposing
than who?
Wemby. He's a big boy.
No, we'll see. Look, when I said physically imposing, look at the players. Look at the players I talked about. I said LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, and Wilt Chamberlain. They're not just strong, but they're strong, fast, explosive. All these things.
Cool.
Jonas Valanciunas is not that. He might be. So I'm not talking about Steven Adams. I'm not talking about.
I got you. Okay, what about Karl-Anthony Towns? Is he physically imposing?
No.
Okay. Well, you said Domas was physically imposing, so I'm
not to the level of the guys I'm talking about, though. Pin. I'm talking about Shaq, Bron, and Wilt.
When you talk about Victor Wembanyama getting bullied by Giannis, you are painting a picture that he does not do well against that type of defense, stronger players, right? I'm gonna tell you what he puts up against Washington, who have Jonas Valanciunas in there. He puts up 50 points per game this year against Washington. I'm gonna tell you what he puts up against your Sacramento Kings on 61.5. No, hang on, 61.5% shooting. He's putting up 34 points per game against New York this year. He's averaging 42.
This is where I push back. This is where I push back. Hold on.
Basketball is more than banging in the post, Ox.
But this is where I push back because
thank you for telling me what I already know. Thank you for telling me what I already know, Pin, that basketball isn't just banging in the post, which I never said it was. You're talking about Jonas Valanciunas and Domantas Sabonis. I'm talking about LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, and Wilt Chamberlain.
Bro,
this is the thing.
Just accept it as they're different.
All I know,
I'm not here to cook you, Pin. I'm just here to talk about this. This isn't a personal attack on you, Pin.
No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that, Ox. But Ox, to your point, when I walk in my house and the house is empty and there's no furniture in it, I can make the house a lot nicer if I got a job because I can put some money in it. As opposed to if I got no job, this is gonna be a little tricky. To your point, Wemby showing up. I mean, Shaq showing up, him being physically imposing like he is. The other stuff that you need to teach a big man, I can teach you that. I don't have to worry about this right here because we already have that. We're not concerned with him getting pushed around. We're not concerned with him getting bullied. We're not concerned with none of that. We can figure out the other stuff. I can definitely get with that. But when LeBron James came into the league, and I want you to go too, John. I want you to go. But when LeBron James came into the league, we can't forget the stigma of the high school player. Don't forget that. Don't leave that part out. Don't get me wrong. I think James, being the prospect that he still was coming out of high school. And there was still this stigma on high school players. With the exception of Bryant and the exception of Kevin Garnett, there weren't guys at that level that came out of high school that were like that.
Tracy
We're talking
McGrady?
about James. Yeah, and it took Tracy McGrady.
Jermaine O'Neal?
It took these dudes, Jermaine O'Neal, sat on the bench in Portland for 4 years. Tracy McGrady, it took him a while to get it together. As good as he was, it took him a while to get it together. Same thing, Bryant. It took him a while to get it together. There still was this stigma on high school players. How awesome is this guy going to be right from the beginning? Even though he was a great prospect, ridiculous athlete, ridiculous skill set, awesome in terms of his game. He had all the tools. The question was how quickly can he learn the game?
Do you know that
how
Jerry
quickly
Krause,
can he adapt to the pro game?
Did you know that Jerry Krause was considering trading Scottie Pippen for Tracy McGrady?
I did hear that.
So that the point of an 18 or 17-year-old coming into the league. Now it's interesting because I heard the story about you and Kobe Bryant, but did you know that Kobe Bryant was cooking actual NBA players in his private workouts with the Lakers? That he cooked Michael Cooper.
Years old. He cooked me at
okay. Well, I'm gonna make you feel a lot better. He cooked Michael Cooper when he was 17.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the truth. But you don't. If you're Jerry Buss,
I did score 9 points on him. By the way, let's make sure we clear on that.
All right. You were nice. You were nice like that.
I just want to make sure that we clear. I did. We played to 11, and I scored 9.
I don't think. I'm gonna be clear. I don't think Michael Cooper scored 9.
So
when he was 17, so you whooped Michael Cooper. Respect to Michael Cooper, great defender. Great defender. What I'm saying though is you don't draft a 17-year-old to carry your franchise today. You never do. You never have. And frankly, unless it is Moses Malone, you're not expecting them to come in and just be that dude right away. Maybe Shaq coming out of high school could have right away been like 18 and 16 or something like that, or 18 and 12 because he was that physically gifted. LeBron coming out was that physically gifted. So I understand what Ox's point is, like the physicality, the strength, the athletic profile, etc. I understand all of that. What I'm saying is when you're honing in on what some guys can do, what you're not doing is seeing the entire spectrum of what is defined as athleticism and physical imposition, right? What Wembanyama can do running the court is special. What he can do covering gaps onto the court. Like if he's on the side of the court, you're not scoring on that side of the court. His shot blocking radius vertically and horizontally is so huge that I have seen this guy fall for a pump fake, get back into the play. The play has moved 18 feet away from him and still recover on the block. That's crazy. I've seen this guy pulling up for logo threes. So that is physical imposition because when you look at the physics of that shot, No one can guard that shot. No one can bother the pocket of that shot. Like Ox, you play basketball, chill. You play basketball at a high level. What are you trying to do with the shooter? You're trying to disrupt their rhythm before they get into the shot, and then when they get into their shot, you're trying to disrupt their eyesight. Like you're trying to get into their airspace to force a tough shot. But with Wemby, there are no tough shots. He's open. He's all up. He's like a dude on Mount Everest. He's all up there by himself.
Wemby shoots a lot of tough shots, bro.
But that's by design. And I think a lot of people, that's where I was, the earlier conversation about development, that's the development, right?
We don't design.
You're not trying to develop Buddy Hield here. You're not trying to develop PJ Tucker. You're trying to develop a cheat code. You're trying to develop a 7'4" Tracy McGrady up here. And that is going to be a very, very rough process. Now, the reason that I was super high.
Oh, what?
A 7'4" Tracy McGrady. That's what you're
you said yourself that Wemby's a wing.
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying you're trying to develop that.
It could be a wing, but all right, my bad. Go ahead.
So
I'm not going to derail.
Like I was super high on Wemby coming into because I think one of the largest content creators in the world made this video about how he might be injury prone, right? So I actually know a lot of people around Wemby. Like not Wemby himself, but I know people around Wemby, people who are in charge of his training, people who've been in charge of some of his development from when he was 16 to 18, 19, talking to these people and seeing how seriously this kid took everything, how seriously he took those stretching, how seriously he takes his barefoot workouts. I've posted about one of my friends and Wemby doing the 7 positions and how much that's helped him. His flexibility for that size, the way he moves is not an accident. It is every bit an outlier as LeBron and Shaq. It's just different. You've never seen we've never seen a 6'8" high schooler come in and dominate the league like LeBron. Facts. Okay. We've never seen a 6'8" athlete with that kind of power and force at the rim like LeBron, basically, combining point guard quickness with center level strength it's a bullet train, right? It's like Zion. These are freakish outliers. Like we already talked about how getting into the NBA in and of itself is the biggest outlier because it's super hard. But being the Zions and the LeBrons of the world, that level of physical dominance is absolutely an outlier. Wemby is no different.
John, I know and that's fair. I know John that had something. What you got, John? I'm sorry.
I do think you can look at prospects and it can vary to what you value. So I think what Ox values is Shaq being able to lean on his physical dominance because that can create an easier shot from day one than maybe Wemby, because Shaq is more dominant against physical NBA bigs. I think that's what Ox values. Penn, Mars, you guys may be able to value the fact that there is an unlimited ceiling to what Victor Wembanyama brings in from day one. Some people may value LeBron's athleticism and his versatility from day one. So when we look at some of the best prospects coming in, it's all about what you value. So I personally think I value a little bit of Victor Wembanyama because you can mold his game on top of him already having that physical standout ability on the defensive side. So I don't hate the Shaq answer. Don't hate LeBron. Don't hate Wemby. But personally, I would go with Wemby. I think Ox will go with Shaq. So it varies. That's all.
Yeah, the reason why go ahead. I'm sorry, Ron.
Let's go ahead and get into it, y'all.